video is from last year, a 5th grade literacy unit, and we were doing a poetry study. And we had already done one poetry study earlier in the year where we had talked about the elements of poetry and some things that we noticed and spent some time doing that. And then this video, we had sort of like dissected a poem before where I taught them how to annotate in poetry. Oh, I see this as a repeated word, I see this as alliteration. And then they were supposed to be using a model to then say, oh, well, this author, this poet used alliteration, 5 frosty fingers, and then they were supposed to do that themselves. And so this video is them trying it, and what I would like you to specifically look for is the ways that I shut down student engagement when I question them.
To attend to student engagement, but specifically your questioning and whether or not it's shutting students down in some way. Okay, thank you, Jody. I want to remind us as we jot our feedback down that we want to avoid judgments. So when it's time to share the feedback, let's avoid words like, phrases like it was good, that was great, that was nice. We want to be very specific for Jody. We want to help her out. We also want to offer her as much feedback as possible. So go for quantity in this. Jody, what I want to remind you is to keep the spirit of improvement in mind. This is about bettering your teaching. So you're going to hear lots of specific feedback about strategies used that were effective, but you might also hear some things we were wondering. Okay? Any other clarifying questions for Jody?
Gentle, soothing, violent, frightening. We named those something. So you noticed something here. When one's bearish and old.
They're calling the bear old.
They're calling the bear old. They're calling the bear
young.
Are they calling him young?
No, old.
And what else?
Bearish. Don't feel like
Bearish.
yeah.
So they are describing the bear. What's that called when you are describing a noun? Adjective. So bearish is an adjective, old is an adjective. So you need to have adjectives.
Adjectives. Instead of
keep talking, I'll be back.
Instead of old, we call young.
All right. So tell me, what's happening?
She's copying on
So you guys are just sitting here waiting? Yeah, that's not going to work for me. Because for her to just copy something, like the discussion has to happen too. All right? So you have already decided on a title. Take a look at your first line.
If I were in charge of
So you have the title. If I were in charge of the world, you have changed the title. If I was God. Now take a look at your first line. So if the title is If I Was God, and now look at your first line.
I'd feed the hungry, get rid of wars, bring peace. Do the will.
So what did you guys notice about this first line? I'd cancel war, guns, animal abuse, and also homework. You had a specific noticing about that last time. Let me come around. What was your noticing about that, Dre?
We had to start with I.
Say it again.
We had to start with I.
Okay, so this author is saying I'd cancel war, guns, animal abuse, and also homework. Now, you are starting with,
I would.
see, you have I'd feed the hungry, you have I will feed the hungry.
And I have I would.
So they're all different?
Go with I will.
What are you going to go with? How are you going to make the decision of how you will do it? Because you all have 3 different ideas here. How will you make the decision of what you're going to go with?
Pick the one that's shorter.
Pick the one that follows the model. What does the model say? Look at your model. I'd. Did you notice anything about the word cancel? What did you notice about it?
A lot of strategies to engage her students in the writing process. What are some things you saw that you want to encourage Jody to do?
I would encourage Jody to have more pausing time for kids to think before they respond.
Thanks, Rose. We're gonna go ahead and note that for the cool feedback.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's okay. But we'll note that for the cool feedback. But what is it we want to see Jody do more of? I mean, when I say more of, keep doing. Yeah.
I noticed when there was a lull in student engagement, they weren't responding. You had obviously read their stuff before, so you were able to refer back to a student and say, you had a noticing about this when you shared that noticing, so you were able to facilitate that. And that, I think that builds student confidence too, when they know that they're affirmed that their teacher liked my response and she wants me to share it.
I like that we went over and sat down instead of like hanging over them. We went over and got down on their level and were right with them. And it wasn't so an ominous presence. It was more you were on their level.
Thank you. Yeah.
I like how you made specific questions for deeper thought and then clarified their responses after they answered.
So you know Jody's already watched this 100 times, and there are things that she wants to improve on herself. What is something that you saw that maybe you're wondering about? Question you have.
I do have a question, and it kind of goes with Rose. What is your protocol for student thought and response time when you are questioning?
Thank you. Yeah.
I noticed Jody asking a lot of leading questions. For example, this is an adjective, this is an adjective, so you're looking for any of their fill in the blanks or kind of one-word things. And I was wondering, if she asked more open-ended questions, what the effect would be for the students.
I was thinking something similar. She asked several times, what did you notice? What did you notice? And I wonder at some point, I wonder this about myself, at what point is it disingenuous? And should I just say, what did you notice that I want you to notice? I'm not, when I ask what do you notice, it seems an open-ended, am I really interested in what you notice, or am I just trying to get you to say the one thing I want you to say? And I wondered about that. If we should just give it to them. Am I trying to get them to write something? And if I am, should I just tell them what it is I've noticed? That's my point. So Jody, you have a lot to think about there, and you may want to take a minute just to decide what you'd like to respond to. And you go ahead and begin responding.
So some of the things that I want to keep based on the feedback and my observations is that level of choice that they had. So the model that they were following, they chose their own model, but then on the flip side of that, I would polish it up by not being so stringent on the model. I saw myself as it went going like, you keep saying model, look at the model, and they're clearly so far off the model. Like they made that choice about that. They were not ready for that text. That's something that I have to learn to embrace better and go back to my goal for the lesson for them. So still giving them that choice where they chose that text, but letting them go off of that more.
Thanks, Jody, for being so reflective. Okay, so that would end, one presenter's part of the protocol. And then the two pieces at the bottom are like the catharsis of the day, where we talk about what went on and what it was like to receive the feedback. And even though I've done it every year, it seems like that's always, it doesn't seem like the conversations I've been in, it doesn't seem like people are speaking as though they've done it all before. They always seem to talk in that last bit like it was sometimes like it was the first time they ever did it.